In the criminal justice system, the people,
pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care,
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law. You're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
New laws in effect in California, as you know, in the new year. Many of them are unlikely to make much difference in your life. We have a state bat. Thanks to... Yeah.
We needed that. You know, that's what I want my state lawmakers to be busy doing.
Well, Kim, I mean, it's a thing that they had time to do in between the serious laws. Yeah. They also passed a new law that memorializes, or in other ways, honors might be a better way to put it, the official state mushroom in California.
I really appreciate that. You know, I didn't really need the real business of the state done.
The golden chanterelle mushroom is the official mushroom.
A larger impact
was not mentioned yet. It's still hoping. The cannabis plant is still hoping. Other laws that may affect you more prominently: you can sell an ADU like a condo now. Assembly Bill 1033 will allow Californians to buy and sell accessory dwelling units, right? ADUs, granny flats. They'll let you sell them now as condominiums. That means property owners can construct an ADU on their land and sell it separately. The goal is to give more people the opportunity to own their own homes in a state with, obviously huge shortages of housing.
That's interesting because you would think it would, I don't know how they get around zoning and selling off plots of your land. Yeah.
So you would have voted against it, Kim? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I need a little more information on that one, I think.
I see.
Kim, how are you?
All right. It's going to be harder to find gas-powered yard tools in California. I say bravo on that, man. I can't believe the leaf blower horror that exists unfettered in California and beyond. But I mean, I just lived with it it's pollution in every way. It's so loud. It's so polluting. It's like breathing next to an exhaust pipe. And then the actual process of blowing the leaves is absurd. I mean, blowing the leaves, the dust, it all goes up into the air. It's every way that you figure this, it's effed up. And yet it exists. There are supposed to be laws on the book against it, but they're not enforced. Anyway, the new law is not so much directed against leaf blowers, although they're included. But they're trying to phase out the sale of these small gas-powered engines, including those in leaf blowers. But lawnmowers, weed trimmers, chainsaws, they're all included. So beginning this year, they are making it harder to find those gas-powered tools. They're going to phase out equipment by requiring that those made this year, 2024, and later, be powered with electricity or another clean energy source. Again, I say bravo. You could pay a smaller security deposit now if you're a renter. You know how when you're a renter, you find some unit, you love it. It's a little more expensive than you wanted to pay, but you're excited. And then all of a sudden they say, all we need is first and last month and the security deposit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm going to have trouble making the rent. I will make it, but now you need first, last, and security. It's a huge upfront cost. So Assembly Bill 12 limits the amount the landlords can charge for security deposits to no more than 1 month's rent. So you've got that. Before that, landlords could charge 2 months of rent for a security deposit. But that made it hard for a lot of people in high-rent cities to find affordable housing. How do you feel about that one, Kim?
Albert, thank you.
Kim,
how are you?
I feel good about that. I like people to be able to move more easily about the world and to get into places so they don't have to have saved up, 6 months worth of savings in order to move. Yeah, that's good.
So Kim approves of that.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're a landlord, and as you know, I don't think that landlords are necessarily evil people. There's this sort of mythology around landlords that they're evil. The evil landlord always want to rent. Landlords are ma and pa often. They're private citizens who put together money to buy a place, and and a good landlord is terrific. I mean, worth their weight type thing. So one of the ways that landlords get screwed in that is that people tend to not pay the last month's rent. So when they're moving out, they go, well, you already have my 2 months rent. I paid it up front. You have my last month. And the reality is that was for damages to the unit. That's security deposit. That's so that when you move out and I need to repaint or whatever, depending on whatever the lease agreement is, you have that covered in that security deposit. But by the person going, well, I've already paid it, and I've given you 30 days, you don't really have time to litigate it or otherwise adjudicate it, and as a result, you end up getting screwed as a landlord. So that's the argument against. Adjudicated is a ding word. Adjudicated. You may get more paid sick days. Workers are going to get at least 5 sick days under Senate Bill 616, an increase from the earlier minimum of 3 paid sick days. Albert is already not feeling well. Labor unions lobbied heavily for this. And of course, employers talk about the increased cost, and some cities already require more paid sick time, including LA, for example. Employers in LA have to give you 6 paid days of sick leaves no matter what. You may get a raise, as you know, was noted in the chat. Minimum wage in California rising by 50 cents. It's now $16 an hour. And again, there are cities in California, LA among them, that already have the higher minimum wage. And they're going up. Fast food workers statewide are going to see their wages rise to $20 an hour, which is worth it when you think about, all the crap they have to deal with. People are so rude. We have stories almost every day on this show about how fast food workers have to take so much smack talk from the public.
We had one yesterday about some assault of a Chipotle worker, right?
Absolutely insane, isn't it? It's just insane. So,
sometimes they skimp on like the guac. You're already paying extra for the guac at Chipotle, and then they give you just a little bit.
That is true.
Albert, thank you.
You may want to bring that up. Senate Bill 617 next year.
Yeah.
The Guacamole Clause. Right. By the way, the hospitals and large healthcare facilities already have a minimum wage, as you know, that's well above $20 an hour. It's like $23 an hour. You can take time off for a miscarriage now. Companies with at least 5 employees will have to allow workers to take at least 5 days off to grieve a reproductive loss, as it's called. Your boss can't ask you whether you've used weed, everybody.
Oh.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the weed smoker drop, Albert. It's on my machine that's dead, so it's going to be replaced this week, I hope, but you'll have to, if you have it, you can run it. But anyway, your boss can't ask you whether you've used weed. Employers can't ask workers or job applicants about their prior cannabis use. This is Senate Bill 700.
Where are my weed smokers at?
It should be Senate Bill 420, but it is not.
Can you ask your boss if he's doing weed?
I believe it goes both ways. You're not allowed to.
Doesn't anybody been a weed?
Yeah. The information about marijuana use not allowed to be used. And any information from an applicant's criminal record can't be used to discriminate against them either. Assembly Bill 2188, employers can't discriminate against workers for using cannabis while off duty and away from work. Employers can still prohibit workers from being high on the job, and the law does not apply to federal contractors or people in the construction business. Kids are going to have to learn what in the new year? It was going away and it's coming back. Anybody?
Cursive.
Cursive is right. Mm-hmm. Assembly Bill 446 requires that handwriting instruction in elementary schools will include cursive writing, everyone. That's a skill that has fallen out of practice among a generation growing up typing on cell phones and laptops. Albert, do you know how to write cursively?
Unfortunately, yeah, because in 6th grade, I had a core teacher who required everything to be in cursive, so
You
I
seem
think
like
my
someone who
generation
would
might have been the last.
good penmanship, though. Am I right about that, Albert, or not?
No, not very bad penmanship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say cursively?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a word?
I don't know. I mean,
I'll side with the host and I'll just ding that for him.
Maybe you should
Google it.
Yeah, Google it and see
Making
about
it
that.
up now. All right.
I mean, sure, you can. It's a knowable thing, cursively.
Okay.
Google it.
Well, I mean, before you say making it up, maybe you should.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I may
cursively.
have to. Is that a word?
I wouldn't be surprised that the law was just to actually have people write again. I think everything's just digital and online.
Yeah.
It actually is a word.
Of course it is, Kim. God, I can't believe this, Albert.
Adverb, it means to write in a cursive manner.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I knew this. I don't understand.
They do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
Yeah,
Why are you yelling?
She fills in for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden she thinks, every utterance of hers is perfect, and every utterance of mine is bad.
Why are you yelling?
Cursively. Who says
What
that?
the hell is going on in the United States of America?
She's lost her mind, Albert. That's what I'm telling you.
Kim, how are you?
I'm just saying. She's kind of losing it. Kim is. Anyway.
Yeah.
On the road, as we finish out, drivers are going to face a new way of getting busted for speeding. San Jose, Oakland, Los Angeles, Glendale, Long Beach, and San Francisco. Say it ain't so. One of the things I loved about California is going away. One of the things I loved was there were no speed cameras here. Now, all those places I mentioned will be allowed to install speed cameras. They'll start near schools, and they'll start on streets with a lot of car crashes in areas known for street racing. But it's not going to end there. Soon we'll be just drenched in these speed cameras. They'll be everywhere.
Yep.
Drivers can be fined $50 for speeding 11 to 15 miles an hour over the limit. Charges can rise to $500 for going more than 100 miles an hour. And then, as you know, I think it's been talked about, but I'll mention it again, cops cannot ask you the one question that they always ask when they pull you over.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know why I've stopped you today?
Exactly. Do you know why I've stopped you?
My bad. I'm sorry.
That's right. I don't know, but I'm sorry. Here's all my stuff. Here's my paperwork. So they have to give a reason for traffic stops when they stop you. That's the effort they're making to avoid these pretextual stops that cops make, to essentially use a minor infraction as a basis to pull someone over and investigate other, bigger situations. It's racially based. Frankly, I think it was viewed as something that could be used in a biased faction racially. That said, the downside to that is that there have been a lot of pretty substantial discoveries along the way when you do pull somebody over for a minor infraction. So it's offset by that, but whatever. Those are the new restrictions, and they won't be allowed to pretextually pull you over with why I stopped you type thing.
Yeah.
Albert, do I have time? I don't know if I do for the Ian Ziering thing.
I think we have just enough time. Yep.
Okay. Big, this would fall into the disorder category of law and disorder. Big story out of the streets of Hollywood with Ian Ziering. You know who that is, Kim?
Yeah, from was it 90210?
Yeah, 90210, exactly. Ian was with his 12-year-old daughter driving through the streets of Hollywood, and I guess somebody on one of those mini bikes hit his car.
This is really scary.
He was also in Sharknado, as is pointed out by Julie. Yeah, it is scary because of the way it unfolded. They all kind of ganged up on him when he got out of the car. Now, I don't know, you could argue he shouldn't have gotten out of the car, but on the other hand, they hit his car. Why shouldn't you be able to get out of it? I mean, it's the streets of Hollywood. It's not the streets of, Mumbai or, again, this is not the third world. Let's take a look at the video. Albert's got it for you here from TMZ, obviously. So that's him in the gray SUV. And he gets out, and they come to blows, the guy who hit his car, and is smack-talking him, I guess. And now the other ones, now she's a woman in that pink, and then he gets sucker punched by the guy in blue. Then he starts running across the street because he's being mauled by all of these mini bikers. And, I mean, he's fighting off like 3 of these people at once. Then he runs, and they give up the fight. It's really scary.
Do you think they targeted him to rob him and then swarmed him, or was it just a road rage kind of accident thing? What happened?
I think it was road rage. I really do. I don't think that
Meanwhile, his daughter remained in the car, right?
Probably the safest place to be. Probably. He got worked pretty well. Look at this. He got hit pretty hard. I mean, it's pretty brutal. It's no wonder he ran.
Look at him running with all those people hanging off of him.
Yeah, I mean, he got hit in the face, a couple of clean shots. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And, cops were nowhere to be found, which is amazing because there are some cops around Hollywood. As you know, I would have a heavy police presence there. I would have a heavy police presence in any big tourist area around San Francisco and in Los Angeles. But now today, Albert, didn't he release a statement of some kind?
Horrible.
I believe he had a statement essentially saying that this was local hooliganism. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hooliganism is a ding word. I can barely say it. While stuck in traffic, my car was approached aggressively by one of these riders, leading to an unsettling confrontation, he said on Instagram. He got out of his car to assess any damage when the situation escalated into a physical altercation. I'm relieved to report that my daughter and I are both completely unscathed, but the incident, unscathed is a ding word, although I will tell you that it is the wrong word he's used there. Unscathed is not the word he wanted. He wants to say unharmed. He was actually scathed, right? It was it left him emotionally shook up. It left them both emotionally shook up, so he's not unscathed, but we still ding it because it is a SAT-type word. But the incident has left me deeply concerned about the growing boldness of such groups, he goes on, who disrupt public safety and peace. How old is Ian Ziering, I ask you in the chat? How old is Ian Ziering? I don't have the, sadly, I don't think let me see, I might have it. I might have the millionaire music. Anybody on, how old is Ian? There it is. How old is Ian Ziering? He was in 90210. He was kind of hunky. 60, says Tom.
Yeah, that would be my guess. 60.
60. 59 said somebody. I can't. 55 says Dave. 59 says Barry. 59 says Wes. 53 says Pauline. 54 says Julie. That's my guess would have been about 56, maybe. 57 says Stephen. How old is Sharknado star and former 90210 star Ian Ziering? I mean, he fought off like Reacher. He fought off 3 of those mini bikers.
That's right.
How old is he?
If anybody was considering Ian Ziering for an action thriller role, now they know he can pull it off.
Jennifer says 50. The answer is 59. Yeah, a couple of people had it in the chat. That is Law and Disorder for today.
Tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on the Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.